Okay, so today we're going to talk about translation. Translation is one of the geometric transformation. And take note of the word translation, that SL, this part when you see the SL, okay, relate it with sliding. There you go, sliding. So translation, what happens when we translate? Let's focus first on the movement or the changes. What happens when I slide, when I translate something? Focus on the movement and the changes, okay? So let's look at this letter L. If I translate to the right, I go to the right, going that way. Check this out, okay? So I want you to focus on the angles, the sizes of the segments, the direction of the letter L, okay? Take note if there are changes. Okay, now, let's now move to the left. Okay, look at the changes. Take note, write it down. Next, how about going up? Of course, it was cut up there, but it should still be there. Okay, what changes have you observed? Okay, next is this one. I'm going down. Okay, going down. What changes have you observed? Now, based on those four movements, we went up, down, left, right. We want to see if the pre-image is the same with the image. Okay, what changes happened? Let's start with the size. Start with the size. Remember your letter L was like this. Did it become smaller or bigger? All right, it's the same size. Yeah. How about the shape? Is it still a letter L? Was the letter L preserved? Or it became a W, became an M when it went up? No, it's the same. All right, what else? How about the location? This is obvious. It went to another location. So not the same. How about the orientation? Oh, orientation, think of it this way. There is no flipping. All right, orientation means there is no flipping. Was there flipping? No, it's still an L. This point is still there facing that side, right? Wherever I go, it's still facing that side. So again, the orientation is the same. Now, how about the angles? Were the angles preserved? Did the 90-degree corner become a 60-degree corner on the other side? No, if it's a 90, it's still a 90 preserved. How about the sides, right? If this is 3 inches, did it become 4 inches on the other side? No, it's still 3 inches. Correct. Preserved. How about parallel lines? If the vertical part of the letter L is this skinny, if it went there, did it become skinnier? No. The parallel lines are still parallel and there is no movement of the parallel line. So preserved. Now, remember this because these are the characteristics of translation. Now we will focus on the coordinate points. We will do the movement once again, but our focus are the X and the Y coordinates. Remember the X and the Y? All right, X on the horizontal and Y on the vertical. Now, we will be moving them depending on the instructions and depending on the directions. Now, look at this. We will move 4 units to the right. So, we will be moving to the right that way. But it specifically said 4 units. But take note, our focus is this vertex A, that point. Okay? And we name it as 2, comma 1. We're okay with naming coordinate points, right? That point is 2 comma 1. That's our focus. This one. This one is our focus. Now, if I move 4 units to the right, what will happen? Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, you might say, oh, Ram, that doesn't look like 4 units to the right. Don't count the spaces in between. No, we're not counting those spaces. We're counting the vertices movement. So 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? So this will now be the new A. So let me label it now A as 6 comma 1. Okay? So I want you now to look at these numbers. What have you observed from 2, 1, 2 comma 1 became a 6-1. Write it down in your notes. We will make some general observations. That's moving 4 units to the right. Now we will move to the left. Okay, remember our point of reference is point A, this one. We will now move to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you sure, Ram, that's 4? Don't count this. Don't count this space. Do not count this one. Some kids might be counting this. Oh, Ram, look at this. That's not 4 spaces. That's 2 spaces. No, don't count that. You're counting what? You're counting the movement of point A. 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? So this is now the new coordinate of point A, which is negative 2, 1. Wow. So observe what happened from 2, comma 1 became negative 2, 1. What happened? Okay. Write it down in your notes. We will make an observation. Next. Now we will move 4 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you sure, Ram? Again, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So point A is now there. So A2, comma 5. Look again, guys. What happened from 2, comma 1? It became 2, comma 5 when my instruction says 4 units up. Okay, last now. Last. So we're going to move down, okay? Down 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just to check from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Letter A is now here. Okay, that's where letter A is. A is 2, comma 2, comma negative 3. All right. Think of what happened. What happened to the coordinates? All right. So we did all those 4 movements. So now we organized everything. We will find the pattern on what happens to the coordinate points from the pre-image to the image. Okay? So these were the results of the previous translation. Moving to the right means what? Look at the numbers. 2 became a 6. What did I do? Correct. I added 4. So when I add 4, but look at the y, it remains the same, meaning I retained it. Okay, next, how about this? That's going to the right. Going to the right, now we move to the left. Okay, now we move to the left. So going to the left means look at the 2. 2 now is what? Minus 4. So 2 minus 4 is a negative 2. Yes, it matches. And what happens to the y coordinate? It remains the same. Remember, when you go to the right and the left, it's the x that is affected. Now you go up and down, which do you think is affected? Correct, the y. So look at the y coordinate now. What changes have you observed from 1 becoming a 5? Going up. Yes, plus 4. We added the 4, so 1 plus 4 is a 5. And then the x-axis was not affected, it's still a 2. Now, what happens going down? Opposite of plus 4 is minus 4. All right, so 1 minus 4 is a negative 3. What have you observed with the x? It remained the same. So let's write down our generalizations on the right side. These are our rules. These are our rules. We will now write them in variables. Check this out. So think of xy, xy, xy as the coordinates, and is that any number of units. It could be 7, 5, 9, any number given to you. So what would be the image? So going to the right affects the x, so x plus n, right? This is called the notation. Sometimes they call this the notation of the image. Remember, include the prime symbol, and tell us what you're going to do. Going to the right means add n. So that's the meaning of that. Add n to the x, retain the y. Going to the left now is not adding n. It is what? Subtracting n. So write down the prime. Now we subtracted the n. You see that? Subtract n from the x and retain the y. Now going up and down affects the x or the y? Yes, it affects the y. So therefore, a prime will be what? A prime will be y plus the n. Any number, right? And the x is retained, which is the same. All right. And then how about going down? Going down, instead of plus n, it'll be minus n. There you go. And the x remains the same. So take note of this. This is your uh, summary of everything we learned about transformation in a coordinate plane. Now, so that you could easily understand or memorize, just think of the number line. Think of the number line, guys. The x going here, right? The y, x is the horizontal, we know that. And then the y is going up and down, all right? That's already giving you the rules. The coordinate plane is already telling you the rules. So if I move to the right, what happens? I add the n, positive, positive. I add to your x. If I move to the left, what do I do? I subtract. I subtract from the x, right? Negative. If I go up, look at this, positive y. I add to the y, add to the y. If I go down, I subtract from the y. See? So if you know the number line, that's already your guide. All right. Now let's have some practice. Let's figure this out. Some kids can do this mentally, but I want you to write the notation first. I'll give the first example. So going to the right. Going to the right means the x is affected. Ux will be affected, right? And to the right is positive. Therefore, I will add something to 2. I will add something to 2. And what is that? I'll add the 3. So I write 2 plus 3. Write down your notation. As I said, I want to see the notation. Even if you can do this mentally, write this down first and then write down the answer now. 2 plus 3 is what? 5 and then comma 3. Okay, try the next one. Pause. All right, ready? Here it is. So now we're moving to the left. Again, 4 will be affected, but I won't add. I will now subtract. So 4 minus 4, comma 5, which will be 0, comma 5. Be sure you label with a prime. Be sure the numbers are in a parenthesis. That's how you write it. The next one, how about going up? Which is affected, the x or the y? Up and down. Why? Okay, you are affected. Since you're up, you're plus. Let me add something to 7. So what will I add to 7? Plus 5. So retain the 5. 7 plus 5 will be 12. Now, going down, which is affected? Down. The y is affected. Down is negative. So I subtract something from 9. So a 9, take away the 6. So rewrite it. But there's a 9 minus 6. So your answer is 8, comma 3. That's D prime. Now, do this on your own. Pause, solve it, write down your answer, and then once you're ready, play. Okay, here we go. Check your answers. Correct? 4 minus 8, comma 5. Negative 4, comma 5. 5, comma 7 plus 9. Negative 5, comma 16. Negative 8, comma negative 9 minus 10. Negative 9 minus 10, keep change opposite. A negative take away in subtracting. So negative 10, add them up, negative 19. See that? Did you get it all correct? All right, good job.